All right, guys. So here's what I'm going to do. I posted first period's video, okay, and that had all the notes for the white text boxes. So you should have done that yesterday. Okay, these are the notes for all the colored boxes. So hopefully this video works. All right, make it work. So keep trying. If your internet is lagging and all that stuff, just keep trying. It's crucial that you get all these notes done because it's an easy 100 and you're going to be doing some independent practice on Friday. All right, so let's get started. All right, so slide number 2, we're going to work on the colored boxes. F of 0, yesterday we reviewed that f is just the fancy name of the function, and 0, because it is in parentheses, it is the input. We're going to input that number into the x because the inputs are always your x. So you're going to get the f function, the one that says 2x minus 3. And you are going to input the 0 everywhere you see an x. So we're going to put 2 times 0 minus 3. So 2 times 0 is going to cancel out. That's going to give you 0. Minus 3, well, that equals negative 3. And we know that function notation is just fancy for writing ordered pairs, okay? So basically what we just found right here was that f of 0 equals negative 3, which is the same thing as writing 0 comma negative 3. You see this right here, f of 0 equals negative 3? That's an ordered pair written in function notation. 0 comma negative 3 is the way that we are accustomed to use to seeing ordered pairs, but they mean the same thing. Inputs, x's are zeros. Outputs, those are your y's, x, y. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Pause it, go at your own pace, but make sure you have all the notes. F of negative 1. Again, because negative 1 is inside your parentheses, it is telling you that is the x, that is the input, that is where you're going to input. So take your 2x minus 3, and now you're going to input a negative 1. Two times negative 1 is negative 2, and then minus 3. Well, negative 2, and that minus is making that 3 negative, so negative 2 and another negative 3 give you negative 5. So let's write our answer in function notation. Let's write it fancy. F of negative 1 equaled negative 5. And that is really an ordered pair written fancy. Negative 1 comma negative 5. Okay. Let's go to the next box. So now we have f of x equals negative 13. So notice how the negative 13 is not in the parentheses because it's not an input. It's on the outside because it's an output. It's a y. So I'm still going to get my function f, and that says 2x minus 3. But now I am going to equal it to negative 13. Okay. And now I have to work backwards. I have to solve for x. So I don't know if you remember, but to solve for x, you want to get x by itself. So the first thing you have to do is add 3 to both sides. And like I said, you don't have to color code this. I'm doing it so that you can see the steps that are occurring. Okay. If I add 3 to both sides, I end up with 2x on the left equals negative 13 plus 3 is negative 10. And now to get x completely by itself, I need to divide by 2. So I'm going to divide this by 2. And I'm going to divide this side by 2. Okay. And when we do that, let me make this a little bit bigger. In fact, I'm going to move it over to the side. Okay. when we divide by 2, what do we have on the left side? Well, 2 divided by 2 is just x. Perfect, that's what I wanted. And then negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. So, in a fancy way, I'm going to put f, that was the name of my function. X is what I just found, so negative 5 equaled, well, what did they tell us it equaled at the beginning? Negative 13. And of course, we know that that is just a fancy ordered pair, negative 5, comma, negative 13. Okay. Let's go to the next one. I'm going to move it over to the side as well, so I can write a little bigger so you guys can see better. Okay, so now I'm going to type my function, x squared, so I need a little squared, so let me go insert, special characters, I'm going to go here and change it to math alphanumeric. And it should be the first one. There it is. And I don't know how that other letter appeared there, so I'll just erase it. Okay. So x squared minus 3x plus 5. What am I going to do to that? Well, I am being given the input, so it's going to go in for the x. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all of this, so I don't have to type it all over again. And I'm going to change those x's to 5s. Okay, and 5 squared means 5 times 5. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15 plus 5. And of course that equals, well, 25 minus 15, that is 10, and 10 plus 5 is 15. Okay, so let's write this fancy. F of 5 equaled 15. And we know that f of 5 equals 15 is the fancy ordered pair 5, comma 15. All right, let's go to the next slide. Here, same thing. I'm giving you functions, but now these are the easy ones. It's the one where the answers are there. It's just a matter of knowing where to look, okay? So we're going to go here to this one. F of 20, because 20 is in the parentheses, that is my x, my input. So I'm going to go look for 20 on the x. Here it is, right here. Who is its partner? The 0. So I'm going to put right here, f of 20 equals 0. Or the ordered pair, 20, comma 0. Okay. Now here, notice how the 4 is not inside because it's not my input, it's the output, it's the answer, it's the y. So I'm going to go look for the 4 in the y. Oh, what do you know? I have 2 of them. I have 2 of them. I have to put them both. So I can write f of, what was the first x? 9 equals 4. And f of 8 was also 4. So we've got 2 ordered pairs here. We've got the 9, comma 4. And we've got the 8, comma 4. Oops. The dictionary is going to come up. Let's see. All right. Now let's go to the next one. F of 8. 8 is in the parentheses, so it's my input, it's my x. So I'm going to have to go look for the 8 and the x. Here it is. And its partner is 4. So I'm going to put right here, f of 8 equals 4. Or as an ordered pair, 8, 4. And yes, you have to put both. Okay, be comfortable seeing it both. It's the same thing once written, like the way we are used to seeing it since the 4th grade, 8, 4. One is in function notation. It's how we write ordered pairs in algebra. Okay? All right. F of x equals 0. Now the 0 is on the outside, so it's a y. So I'm going to have to go look for it down here. Don't get confused. I see a 0 up here, but it's not an output, that one. Okay? I need to go look for it down here. So the partner of 0 is 20. So I'm going to put f of 20, because that was the x partner, equal 0. The ordered pair was 20, 0. And remember yesterday when we got down here to this table, it was basically practicing writing our ordered pairs in algebra way and function notation. That's where you take f and you put the x value inside the parentheses. So I would put the 3 inside the parentheses and I will equal it to my output, my y, so -2. And that's how you write 3, -2 in function notation. F of 3 equals -2. Okay, now let's go here. F of 3, again, 3 is inside. That is my input. That is my x. So I need to take the function f. This is the one that's called f, the one that says 3x plus 1. And I got to input a 3 for the x. So 3 times 3 plus 1. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 equals 10. So write it fancy. F of 3 equals 10. Or the ordered pair, 3, 10. Okay. The next one, h of -2. So they're telling me take the h one, here it is, the one that says 12 divided by x. And because the -2 is inside the parentheses, it's what I'm going to input for the x, so 12 divided by -2. And of course, that is -6. So I can write h of -2 equals -6. And of course, I can write it as an ordered pair, -2, -6. Okay. And finally, f of x equals 23. So I'm going to take my function f, the one that says 3x plus 1, but now I'm going to equal it to 23 because it is not inside the parentheses, so it's not going to go in for the x. It's an answer, so you got to put it as an answer. And we have to solve for x. So let's solve for x. First thing to do is move the 1 by doing the opposite. So I'm going to do -1 to both sides. When I do that, I end up with just 3x on the left because the 1 minus 1 cancels, equals to a 22 on the right because 23 minus 1 is 22. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to have to divide by 2 on both sides. Let me move it so you can see it. And if I divide 2x by 2, I'm left with x equals, and then 22 divided by 2 is 11. So my fancy answer will be f of, what was the x we found? 11 equals 23. Or, of course, as an ordered pair, 11, 23. And I shouldn't say or as an ordered pair because this is an ordered pair too, but in function notation, this is an ordered pair, but like elementary version, okay? So they're both the same ordered pair, but they're written in different formats. Okay. Let's skip to slide number 6. We did slide number 5 yesterday. So here we go. And now I have a graph. These are the easy ones too, like tables. The answers are just going to be there. We just got to go look for them on the graph. So f of -4, because the -4 is inside the parentheses, is basically telling you that, hey, I'm the x. -4 is the x. So you're looking for the y. There's got to be an ordered pair in your graph that is -4 something. You got to go look for that y, okay? So then just go and stand on your origin. Go to the -4 on the x. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then go up. 1, 2. Right here. This is 2. So the y value that this ordered pair was missing, -4, 2. Okay, so you're going to write it like this. F of -4 equals 2. And you can finish off the ordered pair now. -4, 2. Okay. F of 0. Again, there is an ordered pair in your graph that has a 0 on the x, and you're looking for the y. Well, let's see. If I go to 0, oh, there's a dot there. X is 0 right now. Well, what's the y value there if you're landing on the origin? It's also 0. So I can write f of 0 equals 0. My ordered pair was 0, 0. Okay. F of 3. 3 is inside the parentheses, so again, 3 is an x. You are looking for that y value. So let's see, if we walk to the 3 on our x-axis, 1, 2, 3, then you go down 2. The y value is 2. So you put right here, f of 3 equals 2. So the ordered pair was 3, 2. F of -5 is just fancy for there is an ordered pair that has a -5 on the x and you're trying to find its partner, the y. So walk to the -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, -5. Oh, I'm on the graph. What is the y value right here? It's 0 because I didn't move up or down. So f of -5 equals 0. -5, 0. Okay. Then f of x equals 2. Okay, so now 2 is not in the parentheses. It's on the outside. So now it's trying to tell you, hey, I'm the y. You are looking for the x. Okay, I am a y value. All right, so here's what you do. You go to the y and you go to the 2. Okay, and then if you go right, there's no graph on your right. Just walk to the left. There you land on the graph. What ordered pair is this? -4, 2. It's the only one that has a 2 on the y. This one has a 0, -5, 0. This one has a negative 2, 5. That doesn't give me a 2 on the y. 0, 0. 2, negative 2. This one gives me a 2, but I don't want the 2 in the front. I want the 2 on the second one. So the only one that has a 2 on the second spot is negative 4, 2. So right here, I'm going to put f of negative 4 equal to negative 4, comma 2. I need to sneeze. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. F of x equals 0. So now I'm trying to tell you that the y is 0. So which ordered pair has a 0 for the y? So go to each of your ordered pairs. Negative 5, 0. Does that have a 0 for the y? It does, right? Okay, so I'm going to write right here f of negative 5 equals 0. Hey, but that's not the only one, because look, negative 4, 2, nah. Negative 2, 5, nah. 0, 0, yep, that has a 0 on the y too. So I'm going to put right here, f of 0 also had a 0 for the y. Okay, let me move it over here. Okay, then I keep checking. 2, negative 3, no. 3, negative 2, no. But 5, 0, 5, 0. It also has a 0 on the y. So f of 5 also equals 0. So I found 3 ordered pairs. The negative 5, 0, the 0, 0, and the 5, 0. There it is. Okay. Okay, slide number 7. Let me see if I can make this smaller. There we go. Oh, I don't want to get bigger. Okay, there we go. I want to be bigger. I was trying to move it. Okay, I am going to take away my face, okay, so I can see the other slides. All right, so here we go. I am going to do the colored text boxes. All right, determine the range. So in my mind, I'm already thinking, determine the outputs, determine the answers. For this function, when the domain is negative 4, negative 3, negative 1. So the reason why there's 3 boxes is because I'm being given 3 inputs. I'm going to input first the negative 4 and solve it. I'm going to input a negative 3 and solve it, and I'm going to input a negative 1 and solve it. So I should end up with 3 outputs, 3 answers. So the first thing you got to do is you take your f function, x squared minus 8. So x, insert, special character, squared, minus 8. And we are going to input, because it's a domain. Domain is x. X are our inputs. And we're going to input a negative 4. So I am going to copy this one, paste it there, and then change my x to a negative 4. Okay. We know that negative 4 squared means negative 4 times negative 4. Well, that's 16. And then minus 8, that equals 8. So my answer can be written as f of, when I first plugged in a negative 4, That equaled 8. And of course, we know that that is an ordered pair. -4, 8. Okay. Next, I'm going to input a -3. So I am going to actually copy the first 2 lines. Because now I'm just going to change this to a -3. You see that? I'm still taking the function x squared minus 8, but now my input is a -3. So I inputted that. -3 times -3 is +9 minus 8. That equals 1. So if I write it fancy, I took my function f, I inputted a -3, and I got 1 as my answer. So my ordered pair is -3, 1. Okay. And last but not least, I'm going to do it again, but now the input is a -1. So copy, paste it, and change that -3 to a -1. And solve. -1 squared just means -1 times -1. Well, that's a +1. Minus 8, well, that equals -7. So I took my function, inputted a -1, and got -7. So -1, -7. Okay. And then the bottom colored boxes, same type of problems, but now it says determine the domain. So I'm looking for the x's, I'm looking for the inputs because they're giving me range, they're giving me the outputs, they're giving me the answers, okay? So I'm going to take my function, 4x plus 9, and I'm going to type it here, 4x plus 9, but I'm going to equal it to my first output, which is a 5. And I'm going to have to solve for x. So I'm going to do -9, -9. Okay. When you do that, you are going to end up with 4x on the left equals, and then 5 minus 9 is -4. And then finally, divide by 4, divide by 4. If you divide 4x by 4, you get x equals -4 divided by 4 is -1. So then you have to write your answer fancy. So f, now we found x, so -1, f of -1 equaled, what was the first output that we used? -3. All right. And of course, you have to write it as an ordered pair. So you would type -1, -3. So these other ones that I'm going to do for you all are going to be easier because I think I'm just going to copy and paste it, and then we'll change what we need to. Okay. So for the next one, oh, I messed up. The first output that we used was a 5, not a -3. I accidentally looked at the other problem. Okay, right here, this one should be a 5 because we're doing the bottom one. So the first output was a 5. So that's going to change. All right. So now let's go ahead and copy and paste everything. Edit, copy, edit, paste. And let's fix what changes. Okay. Oops. Okay, first of all, the 5 is going to change because now the output that they want us to use is 21. So I'm going to change this to 21. Then obviously my answer is going to change. I'm still going to move the 9 to both sides. But now 21 minus 9, what is that? That's negative what? 12? And when I divide by 4 on both sides, I get negative 3. So then now the answer, the x, that's your input, that's the one that's going to go inside the parenthesis. And the one on the outside is the number that we used, which was 21. So my ordered pair is negative 3, 21. Okay, so I'll paste it here again. Oops. There it is. So I'm taking my function, 4x plus 9, and I'm equaling it to these numbers because they're the range, they're the output. So we already did 5 and 21. Now I got to equal it to 33. So I'm going to change this 5 to 33. And I'm still going to do minus 9, minus 9. So that's going to cancel, leaving me with 4x. But over here, 33 minus 9. Okay. What is that? That's 24. Negative 24. No, sorry, positive 24. 33 minus 9, positive 24. And then divide by 4, divide by 4. So x equals 24 divided by 4 is 6. So here's how you would write it. X is your input. He's the one that goes inside your parenthesis. And then the output that we used was 33. So your ordered pair is going to be 6, 33. And there it is. So know the difference. If they give you the domain, they're giving you the inputs. They're giving you the x's. So you just plug them in for the x and solve. If they give you the range, though, those are the outputs. You got to put them as the answers and solve for x. Okay? Finally, last slide. F of negative 1 plus f of 1. Remember this kind? We had to solve them separately, like two different problems, and then we had to add the answers. Okay, so let's start with f of negative 1. F is telling me to take this function, x squared plus 2. So I'm going to write or type x, insert special characters. This should still be there. So x squared plus 2. And I'm only doing the left side. Don't even pay attention to the right side. Okay, so x squared plus 2. I'm going to input a negative 1. So let me copy this one. Edit, copy. I'm going to input a negative 1 everywhere I see an x. And I'm going to solve. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And then plus 2. That equals 3. So that's the answer to the left side. Okay. Now I have to solve the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and add a text box. There it is. You can change the color if you want. I'm not. That way you know the difference. I'm still going to take the f function. So I'm still going to take this one. So I'm going to edit, copy. Edit, paste. But now my input is a positive 1. So I'm going to input a positive 1. So let me edit, paste there too, and then just change the x to a 1. So 1 squared is 1 plus 2. That's also 3. And now I just have to add. You see this right here? You have to add your answers. So then your final answer, this one I am going to color code some different colors so that you know that that's the final answer. Okay. So for this one, you take the answer of f of -1, which was 3, and you add it to the answer of f of 1, which was also 3, and we get 6. So the final answer is 6. All right. Then we go to g of f of 0. So remember yesterday we said you're going to work from the inside and work yourself out. So inside. So I'm not even going to look at the g. I'm just going to do f of 0. F of 0 is telling me to take this one again, the x squared plus 2. So let me copy it from here. And that I'm going to input a 0 in there. So let me paste it again right there and just change the x's to zeros. 0 squared, well 0 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. So that was the answer for the inside. So if you can picture this. I'm going to take away all of this because I already solved it and I got a 2. So if I change all this to a 2, now it's going to say g of 2. So that's exactly what you need to do. You now need to take the outside function, the g1 says x plus 3. So let me take another text box. It's telling me take the g now. G says x plus 3. And what are you going to input in there? You're going to input the answer that you got for the first one. I'm going to input a 2. 2 plus 3, and that is 5. So my final answer is the 5. Not anything else. All that just led me to the answer. And finally, g of w. G of w is telling me to get this one, the x plus 3. And because w is inside the parentheses, it's telling me, hey, I want to be the input. I want you to input me wherever you see an x. Okay, so here it is. I did it. And that's all you can do. Since w was not an exact number, I can't solve it anymore. It just basically changed the letter. So we'll write it like this. G of w equals w plus 3. That's all we got. And that's it. And that's function notation for you. All of these are the different types of problems that I could ask you or that the star can ask you about function notation. Okay? So notice that we haven't done any practice on your own. That's Friday. So please make sure you watch this video. Okay? Learn it, pause it, watch it again, do whatever you need to do to be prepared to do some practice on your own. Okay? All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.